Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. My name is Attila. I am a student at Full Sail University in the Game Design Master's program. I'm also a current game designer at Activision Blizzard King, and this is my development research presentation for the Quality Assurance course in month 5. The topic of this research presentation is to provide an overview of Unity Engine's animation system, otherwise known as Mechanim. I'll also be diving into a related topic of interest, the timelines and Cinemachine features, which are available as a package for free in Unity 2019 or later. Unity is a game development software, for those of you who don't know, which consists of a whole suite of tools used for making games across a vast array of platforms. Games such as Among Us, Hollow Knight, Pokemon Go, Mario Kart Tour, and more have been made in Unity. Also, you may be asking yourself, what is an animation system? An animation system is essentially a set of specific tools used to control the animations of game objects in a project. This includes the control of character animations, for example, object animations. With the animation system, a developer can also create animation clips using keyframes, programming triggers for initiating animation states, blending, transitions of animations, management of complex interactions, as well as layering and masking. Now, this is the sort of overview screen of the Unity animation system, or at least a big part of it. You have here on the bottom right corner, you have, like, for example, a character animations preview. So it's a preview window that allows you to play a preview of an animation that you're working with. And that can be accessed in the project view part of the interface of Unity, where all your files and your FBX and your animation files are located in your project. And then you have the animator window, which basically it contains all the animation clips that you want to create transitions for and trigger and configure for your character in this example here. So each little module that you see here is an animation clip. And I'll be diving into more specifics about the animator coming up soon. And then you have the inspector, which is where all your configurations can be made, where I can adjust the time frame between transitions and configure certain conditions and parameters and such can be made in the inspector. Basically, how the Unity animation systems works, tying all this together, is you have your project window with all your files and all your animations and 3D models and such, and then you can drag and drop them into the animator and then connect them with the arrows. In the inspector, you're referencing the model, you're referencing the rig, which the animation clips control the rig to provide a running animation or an idle animation, and then that can be seen in your scene or in your game view or in your preview window. So to get a little bit more into detail about the animator, the animator window references animation clips. Like I said before, in your project, the orange animation clip you see here is the default animation state of your game object. The arrows indicate the transitions between animation states, and transitions are triggered through various parameters. Here you can see on the left side of the window with the parameters. And these are basically following the data types, the common data types like trigger, a Boolean, integer, float, and string. So As an example, if your character has a charge of, once your charge meter reaches 100, the character does a charging power animation, for example. So that's where the parameter could go in as a integer, right, which is a number 100, and then that would trigger, right, the next animation state to play, or that charge animation to play. The animation window, which is commonly confused with the animator window, which I mentioned previously. The animation window is a little bit different. This is where you can actually edit, create, delete, or add keyframes to your animations. You can even create entirely new animation clips directly in Unity using this tool as well. On the top image, you see the dope sheet view, which is where you can edit the keyframes, add or subtract keyframes. The curves, which is the picture on the bottom, the curves view, is where you can adjust the speed at which the transitions from one keyframe to another occur. So if I want to have a smooth transition or a bounce curve, you can do that in the curves view. So some of the defects or drawbacks to the Unity animation system is that there can be potential for performance issues, especially on lower end platforms. And the reason why that is that the system is getting a call for each of these parameters and each of your animators for all your animations every frame. So this could cause some performance issues on lower end platforms, lower end devices, such as mobile. Also, when you're having animations separate from animators, this could add an additional complexity to your file or asset management structure. Like obviously the animation system in Unity with all these components is going to increase file size relative to if you were to write your own code in certain instances. So that could be also a drawback. Possible defects that could occur or little bugs that could occur through the use of the animation system is animation blending with 2D character animations is still not entirely supported. So that could be that certain bugs could arise or glitches could arise from that. The use of animators on UI in specific can be problematic at times as well. States can get stuck. Undesirable animation looping, because as soon as you drag an animation clip into your animator, it defaults to loop. So sometimes you'll get these weird undesirable looped animations, which you have to like physically turn off. Also, you could get compile errors or warnings when the configuration of certain parameters is not set correctly. Moving on, so to the Timelines and Cinemachine package. This is a really super powerful tool, which was introduced in Unity 2019. It's a really streamlined tool for camera movements and also for coordinating multiple animations alongside a camera and on a time axis. So Timelines allows you to visually edit, music, play animations, show, hide game objects, user interface, control particles, all together along a common timeline. And then we have also coupled with Cinemachine, which is a suite of modules that uses Timeline as well to activate, deactivate, and blend between virtual cameras to create rich and dynamic cutscenes and even interactive sequences, which is pretty cool. Some of the drawbacks and defects with this package are very similar to the Unity animation system, the default, with a few differences. There's the performance issues on low-end platforms, which remains the same. Also, like when you create interactive sequences, the triggers that are being used there are called in the update method rather than in the fixed update. So that could cause certain triggers to lag or not appear correctly on the timeline. Also, added complexity to the file asset management remains the same, and the references of objects in the timeline is using the quick reference tool and not the file targeting reference, which is used in the animation system. So that could be a workflow drawback to using timelines. Some defects is unresponsive input during animations. It's not really possible to simply, like you can in the default animation system of Unity, to consider input during animations. So this is not as straightforward as in the default. Also, you could have incorrect camera transitions due to camera priorities. So every virtual camera has a priority number from 1 to however many. And if your camera priority is not set correctly, then a completely different camera can be being utilized at any one point in the timeline. Also, there are some layering issues. So the way that objects are layered in the timeline is inverse to what you would find in the animator or in the animation window, sorry. So that's sort of like a flip you have to do in your mind, which could cause some defects. So the animation system overall is a very powerful tool. It's very sophisticated, and it seems that the gap between art, design, and development is very quickly getting closer. The system can serve as a simple and effective means to prototyping and debugging for sure. Very powerful tool for design to prototype with. And then there's the limitations of this research, I believe, is that this research serves as helpful context for the practical application of this system in the development of games. Mechanim is indeed a powerful state machine, but the performance implications, if it's used as a primary system of animation and state control, could serve problematic, and that's useful to know. Some takeaways: I have acquired a deeper understanding of the animation system within Unity, how the game engine performs through the use of this system in game development is vital, and possible defects which could limit the system's use as the main component for handling game animations is also critical. These are my references for this presentation, and it's been fantastic. Thank you very much for your time and attention. Let's connect on LinkedIn. I'd be happy to speak with you. And that's all for my presentation. Thank you. Bye.